Is there something wrong with me to explain why I have been single for my whole life? That was the exact question that came in recently during our church's question and answer Sunday. Is something wrong with me that I've never been in this serious relationship, that I've never made it to take the vows of marriage? Wow, I don't know who asked it, but I can only imagine the emotion behind it. If you've ever been aching for a relationship, wanting to find someone, the companionship, the closeness, the intimacy, and you haven't been able to find it, you maybe have asked that question too. What's wrong? Is it me? Is it them? Well, there's a lot of them, and yet none of them seems to like me. Is something wrong with me? Obviously, it's super personal and individual, but I'm going to answer that question in, I hope, a nuanced, complex, and biblical way. Let's start with this. Is it wrong to be single? The answer is absolutely not. Jesus, we learn in Hebrews chapter 4, can sympathize with us because he is like us in every way, yet he did not sin. Hebrews 4:15. He did not sin, and yet Jesus' relationship status was single his whole life. Was something wrong with him? Was he sinful, bad, flawed? Did he need to change? Never. And yet he was single. So we got to be careful. We live in a culture that loves to idolize marriage. We see someone who's single and we try to set him up like everyone needs to be set up. We see someone who's a little bit older, doesn't have any children. Oh, what happened? What's wrong? What? I wonder if people did that to Jesus or the Apostle Paul. Like, oh, did you? What? Like, no, I'm fine. I'm content. I have got it. I don't need that. So it's really important for us, especially in our culture, not to idolize marriage and family, but to see it as good gifts and to see a content single life as a good gift too. But let's actually dive into the question. Is something wrong with you if you don't want to be single, but you still are? And the answer is maybe. Is it possible that a person won't want to commit to another person because of something about that person? You're thinking I'm insensitive right now, but isn't that true? Or if I want to be your friend, but there's just some things about me that make you not want to be my friend. You're not excited to see me again. You don't want to invite me to the party, not because you're trying to be cruel or mean, but just like, oh, Mike, he never quite dominates conversations. He starts fights with people. Like, is it possible that there's a relational distance between two people because of something in one of the people? I think the answer would be for sure. Right? If we're needy or if we're clingy or if we're easily angered or if we're not good at commitment, if we're not I would say this, sometimes we're single, we can't have a lasting relationship because we haven't addressed the things in ourselves that need to change. Now, as a pastor, I'm even cringing as I say that because for some of you, that's not the answer you need to hear. But I would say for some of you, it is. It's really important to work on your character. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to have flaws and sins just like everyone else. But we want to do the best we can to be like Jesus. His character was so attractive. And so you need to work on your patience or your sobriety, on your anger, your selfishness, your fear, or your worry. I would say push yourself to that. Be as much like Jesus as you can. And sometimes, even if you are working on you, people don't appreciate the things of God. It would be great if every guy would just look for the godliest girl around and ask her out. But because guys are sinful, sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes they look at the outward appearance, even though God looks at the heart. Sometimes they're deceived by fading beauty. As 1 Peter 3 says, instead of the unfading beauty of a gentle, quiet, and godly spirit. Is something wrong with you because you're single? No, sometimes something is wrong with them. They don't got their values straight. They don't care about church attendance and a prayer life. They just care about hips and waist and facial features and money and really ephemeral, temporary things. And so put it all together, it's a complicated question. Is it wrong to be single? No, Jesus was. The Apostle Paul was. Is something maybe wrong if you're single and you don't want to be? Maybe. There might be parts of your character. You might need a really good friend to be straight with you and say, I think when you do this, it pushes people away. And maybe even though you're trying your hardest and following Jesus, people just don't appreciate Jesus and the people who follow him. So I don't want to answer this from a distance. Reach out to someone who loves you, who loves God, who will speak the truth to you and speak it in love. And you can find a great answer to that question. But at the end of it, remember this: whether you're single or married, dating or divorced, if you have God, you'll learn the secret of being content. You don't need to get married to have a fulfilling life. If you have Jesus, you have everything you need.